Story 1. Buy a small house and a car. I am nearly 50 and have never had either. I was homeless for 20 years, and while I am no longer homeless, I will never get a good job. I am part of the working destitute and always will be. Story 2. Right now, go out to celebrate and spend $200 for food and beverages. Tomorrow morning, call in sick with a bad hangover, go to the bank, finance my home renovation, and save the rest for retirement. 1 million is a little bit not enough for my retirement. Story 3. Find out how much it is worth in my currency, and get a headache trying to work out the best time to convert the cash with all the random tariffs seesawing the global markets at the moment. Story 4. Retire. I have no casual debt and very little left on the home loan. Sell this house, buy in a lower cost of living area, and live a modest remainder of my life. Never had much, don't need much. Anyone want to go fishing? Story 5. Pay off my debts of about 200,000, house, car, and student loans, and then invest. I think with 800,000 I could get it into a 5% annual percentage rate account, which is 40,000 per year. Then just keep working for a few years until I hit 10 million, which with vastly lower expenses and the ever-increasing interest would be about 8 to 10 years. Then that 40,000 per year is 400,000 per year, and that's enough for me. This is what makes me so confused about people with 10 million. Just stop. Retire at a young age and enjoy your life. Why do people keep pushing and pushing to be richer and richer? It's a mental illness for sure. Story 6. Take a long road trip on my motorcycle, camping only. Get used to the feeling of not worrying about money. It will probably take weeks to arrive at that space where I am finally at ease. Only then could I come home and reconstruct the life that I want and deserve. Story 7. Well, I would buy you a house. I would buy you furniture for your house, maybe a nice Chesterfield or an ottoman. Well, I would buy you a compact car, a nice, reliable automobile. I would buy your love. I would build a tree fort in our yard. You could help, it would not be that hard. Maybe we can put a little tiny fridge in there somewhere. We could just go up there and hang out, like open the fridge, and there would already be food laid out for us, like little pre-wrapped sausages and things. They have pre-wrapped sausages, but they do not have pre-wrapped bacon. Well, can you blame them? Yes. Well, I would buy you a fur coat, but not a real fur coat. That is cruel. Well, I would buy you an exotic pet, yes, like a llama or an emu. Well, I would buy you John Merrick's remains. Ooh, all those crazy elephant bones. I would buy your love. We would not have to walk to the store. Now, we would take a limousine because it costs more. We would not have to eat macaroni and cheese, but we would eat macaroni and cheese. Of course we would just eat more and buy really expensive ketchups with it. That is right, all the fanciest Dijon ketchup, Well, I would buy you a green dress, but not a real green dress, that is cruel. Well, I would buy you some art, a Picasso or a Garfunkel. Well, I would buy you a monkey. Have you not always wanted a monkey? I would buy your love. I would be rich. Story 8. Pay off my student loans, pay off my partner's car, get married, go on a honeymoon, buy a house, buy a car, and put the rest in a high-yield savings account. Withdraw money to make the maximum yearly contribution to my 401k every year. Story 9. Pay some bills, get my stomach checked out, have my teeth checked, then maybe get a small apartment or two. Send my significant other a gift for Valentine's. Maybe a fruit arrangement or a video card. Haha. Story 10. Move my old mobile home away, set up a new tiny house to live in, fence half of my land, get it all looking pretty, install a solar array, and some things I've never been able to afford. Then invest the $800,000 that's left. Story 11. Invest 80% into 2 to 3 different exchange-traded funds. 18% into 3 to 4 individual companies I believe in. 1% to pay off some debt for my husband and me. Remaining 1% for fun money to travel with. Story 12. Fix my car and trade it in for something that will better accommodate my family. Pay off and fix up my house to sell and move to an area that's not a complete mess. Set up college funds for my kids. Maybe take a small vacation. Treat myself a little bit and invest the rest. Story 13. I'd quit work and focus solely on fixing my health for a while. if it's even possible to do so. Still not entirely certain what the cause of my severe chronic fatigue is, and continuous positive airway pressure has only been able to accomplish a little bit. The money would help me pay for sleep medicine-related expenses that my inadequate insurance refuses to cover. I also need to lose about 35 pounds, which is made incredibly difficult by the chronic fatigue. Story 14. Go to work in 10 minutes. I work in the kitchen at McDonald's and I love that job. I love making everyone's job easier by being there, and I love the people I work with. The money would just let me work there with little to worry about, at least for a while. Story 15. Been bored today and came across a property on the market that I could fairly easily turn into a lucrative business model for my dream job. I've been daydreaming about it all day, and with $1 million, I could easily fund the entire thing and have plenty of cash left over as insurance. Story 16. Buy Super Bowl tickets for the family. That trip would end up costing about $50,000 to $75,000 total with hotel, airfare, food, and merchandise. Then I would pay off all my debt and replace our vehicles with 100,000 and 200,000 mileage. Story 17. Buy a house. The median house price is pushing $800,000 in my city for a semi-decent house with a commute of around an hour each way. We've been saving forever now and are only about halfway to what we'd need for a deposit, plus the number keeps going up. It's all feeling a bit hopeless. To be honest, I'd be happy with 100,000. Story 18. I am currently unemployed, so I would use it to pay off my debt and get some further training to help my job search. While I would still invest most of it, I would keep enough for living expenses for the next year or two so I can breathe easier as I job hunt. Story 19. I am so focused on just needing $35,000 to be debt-free. $1 million would help me pay my daughter's school debt. Divorce made it so I could not while she was in college. Story 20. Pay off my debt. Pay off the debt of some family members and friends. Buy my dad and brother a truck each and my mom an SUV. Set up university funds for the various children in my life. Get my master's degree, maybe a doctor of philosophy, or maybe another Bachelor of Arts degree. I don't know, I like school. Get my teeth fixed. This would, as an estimate, come in around $400,000. I would put $150,000 in an account to cover expenses and some fun trips and invest the rest. My current expenses are less than $1,000 a month, so I assume $150,000 will last a while, especially if I had an account with a decent interest rate. Story 21. Have a couple of friends who could use a few $1,000s each, no strings attached. Get a plane ticket to Montana, and then when I come back, I get General Motors Company to make me a truck with a camper in the back that I can take my poodle across the country with. Story 22. Make sure my health is in check, pay off student loans, buy a house for my loved ones, donate, invest, and live frugally. I would probably still try to work in the commercial gaming field and produce art that would be my legacy for others to enjoy. Story 23. Buy a house probably. Invest the rest in things with a fixed rate. I would normally just invest in exchange-traded funds, but I feel like a crash is imminent. Keep working for a little bit and retire early. Story 24. Pay off medical debt, make some quality of life improvements at home for my disability, and then invest the rest for when I may no longer be able to work since I would not be able to rely on just disability to live. Story 25. Take out a mortgage and buy 2 cheaper houses, let them pay it out. Then I would have a house each and a divorce or enough to cash in to pay for a care home for me and the missus if needed, or a house each for the kids when I die. Story 26. Pay off both my husband's and my debts, buy a house on a bit of land, get another dog, some new clothes and a guitar, and invest the rest in a combination of stocks and local businesses. Story 27. Buy a normal house, 2 newer modest cars, and invest the rest in our retirement fund to get some safe investment returns. Oh, and find and pay off our debts. Story 28. Buy my 81-year-old mother the house she deserves after losing her entire family, except for me, and enduring the challenges from my stepfather and his brother-in-law, who did everything he could to deceive her out of her share of the corporation they owned together. She lost her youngest child, my sister, at the age of 34. She passed away suddenly, was revived too late, and had to be disconnected from life support 10 days later. 13 years later, She was wronged by family, so I would get her the house she deserves. Story 29. Probably just squirrel most of it away. But I would put money into finishing our home remodel and paying my boyfriend what he's worth for all his time and effort. I might pay off student loans, but that's such a complicated issue right now it would be on the back burner. Probably travel more. I lead a pretty simple life. I just want a nice home, reasonable vacations, and to actually have a little money for retirement if I live that long. Story 30. Pay off student loans and credit cards, pay off my car and house. Then put my utilities on autopay. Keep working my regular $42,000 per year job and hopefully have no more stresses about money until the end of my days. Story 31. I think most would do this, but 1 million would pay back both my wife and my student loans, finish paying off both our cars, and pay off the house. Collectively, that's around $380,000. The rest would be invested, so we might actually have a real shot at retirement someday. Story 32. Hire a professional financial expert to help me pay off all debts and secure a house and car. I wouldn't tell anyone, but I think they would wonder when I suddenly have 7 more dogs, though. Story 33. I'd build the mini Gothic castle of my dreams with stained glass windows and have it furnished with period-appropriate furniture from across the pond. Then, I'd host an annual vampire masquerade ball. That's what I'd do. Story 34. I used everything I had to buy a Canadian mining and energy publication last year. I would use that money to alleviate just enough pain in my life to be able to get good sleep at night. I would use the rest to reach every single company I possibly could and help them to better tell their story. We need their industries. They just need to do a better job telling the world about themselves so they can do the good work they need to do so we all benefit. That money would go to helping to pay writers in Canada who could use the work to tell these stories. Right now, I'm doing it all myself as I slowly grow my way to being able to hire and turn it up a little by little. I could connect so many people with that money. I'll get there. That would just be fuel to do it faster. Thank you for reading this far. It was fun to dream about what I would do with that money. I hope I sparked an idea in you while you read it. Story 35. I'm both grateful and sad that not much in my life would change. No debt, live where I want to live, decent enough job, enough savings. I guess I would probably help my mom retire a little early. That's the only thing a free $1 million would help with. Story 36. Build a house for my family. I would like to build a large house with 2 wings and some shared entertainment area. I picture it as U-shaped, 2 fully self-contained living spaces joined with a large shared dining room and kitchen for special occasions like birthdays and holidays, home theater and game room. My ex-wife and I are great friends, and it would be nice if the kids could come and go as they wish between our homes. Presently, we live about 25 minutes apart, so they aren't able to visit mom as much as they'd like. Story 37. My kids' college education is going to be paid off. Then a nice house, some responsible investing, no cryptocurrency. Try to get to the point where interest and investments are enough to live off. Story 38. Get a small house and a half-decent car. Allocate half of what's left to long-term investments, and split the other half 80-20 between savings and personal money for whatever, probably just living expenses and a new computer a few years down the line. Story 39. Immediately, I cry. I have an odd way of processing joy, laugh out loud. Then I'd make calls to pay off our debts and surprise my partner with some nice steaks for dinner. Then we'd talk about what to do with the rest. Story 40. I would have $1 million. I'm already building a compound for friends and family. I'm sure it would help finish the cul-de-sac and the tunnels that connect the homes to the hydroponic bunker. Story 41. If I take $700,000 after taxes, I'd pay off my debts and have $600,000 remaining. Parents' debts would reduce this to $250,000. The rest would be invested or used as a down payment on a property. I would use $20,000 to own my car and maybe $15,000 to travel. Although a big part of me wants to pay off debts, settle parents' debts, invest and travel. Or just settle debts and travel. I might try to allocate $150,000 from that to start a business, but I'm not sure. Investing it would really be the best move toward my retirement. Story 42. Not immediately, though. I would invest it. Using the 4% rule, it is only $40,000 a year, which is not a lot in my high cost of living area. I would probably continue my job until they lay me off, but as I am pretty sure that is coming soon, I will wait until I get severance. Then I will figure out what I want to do next after traveling a bit. I will probably work part-time to keep busy, but take more and longer vacations. Story 43. Get my son an assessment for dyslexia. Poor guy struggles. I know he has it, but without a letter with a diagnosis, his school won't provide accommodations. Story 44. Buy some modest property in Scandinavia, take my wife on a vacation in the Azores, buy some airsoft equipment and a rifle or two. Invest whatever is left into my stocks. Story 45. I would probably freak out for a couple of hours and then pay my mom back the money I owe, buy a house, buy loads of stuff for my cat, and finally get a computer for myself. I would also donate a large amount of it, invest in something, get therapy, and then go traveling. Story 46. Finally, get a good night's sleep. Then, pay off all my debts except my house, low interest, and I would rather keep the cash, and set up my nieces with college funds. I would not tell anyone and continue life with no one the wiser.